So I'm just guessing. So okay. So did you do any file writing and file reading and file appending in
Yeah,
your?
we did, but it wasn't in our exams.
Okay. So are you able, if I tell you there is student marks in a file, are you able to read that? Okay. So this is a code for writing. Okay. Now what do you want to tell me? What do you want to do?
This will open a file called testfile.txt, and it will write
Yes, I know
delete
that.
that as the case, and it will close.
Okay. So I mean, the level of the exam is more complex than that. So what I'm trying to tell you that most probably that you have a text, maybe student marks and even student names written in a text file, and then you need to read that student marks and load it into an array. Sometimes not only one array, sometimes it's a 2D array. And also sometimes you need to be able to know. So sorry, let me confirm that you take 2D array, right? Supposed to be in your syllabus.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of the tricks, especially in the exam, what they say is that, okay, so you know that this is a row and this is a column, right? And you know that we always count from 0, am I right? And we also here count from 0. So this is column 0, 1, 2, and this is row 0, row 1. So assume sometimes he will tell you, okay, here we put the student names. Okay, and here we put student marks. Okay, so assume because I there's limited space here, so I assume that the first student is called AB, the second student is called AC, here is called AZ, for example, and his mark here is 99, here 98, here maybe 97. So so the way that, so the trick here, when you read a mark, so typically sometimes in the text file you will find that, okay, AB is, and his mark is actually written on one line. So it means that you need to read one line. So you need to loop through all the lines, and you need to get that data in the single line and then split it into two halves. And then you get the name inserted here and you get the mark inserted here. So this is a kind of trick. I mean, I see, I understand your code, that this is a simple something that you write to the text file. But the trick here, the trick that you want to learn and you need to really master is that when you read what you want to, how you going to organize the data that you read, and you can do a process on that. So sometimes, or most of the time, he will tell you, I want to see the top student, the one who got highest mark, and sometimes the minimum, who is the worst student performing. And sometimes they tell you also, I want to get the average of all the marks. So this kind of operation, this is what you really need to master. And not only that, sometimes he will give you this data in a two 1D arrays, and then he will ask you to start inserting them in 2D array like that. Okay. And sometimes he will give you. So this is the thing that we really need to actually master. So he will give you the 2D array like that, column 0, column 1, and this is row 0. So he will put the name here like that, and then he will put his mark here, and then he will put this here and his mark here. So the trick, constructing a loop, 2D array loop that can do this purpose, and another 2D another 4 loops to do this kind of insertion in the 2D array. This is one of the tricks actually that we need to master. Did you do that before?
No.
Okay, so this is one of the things that we really need. I mean, typically, my people who studied with me IGCSE 0478, which is equivalent to what you took, so I teach them this kind of things, because this is not all in the syllabus, but again, the exam level is higher than the syllabus. So you take 2D arrays, but they will not give you examples. They will give you example, oh, to know the minimum and maximum, yes, and average and total and the sum, yes. But to be able to insert in this format, or even to insert in that format, that is tricky. Sometimes most of, I mean, at the IGCSE level, they talk about student marks. Sometimes they will give you like tickets for cinema or for theater, and then they will give you 2D arrays, and then he will tell you, okay, it is the 2D array is full of booleans. You know booleans, right?
Yeah.
So he will tell you, okay, certain, so this is represent actually the seats that you need to fill in. So the seat that is marked as true, or the place or the element inside the 2D array that is marked as true, it is actually the one that is full, already occupied by somebody. So we tell you, okay, I have this number of clients, and you need to actually make a kind of search and tell me if how many free places we are able to take, so that we don't overbook our clients. So you don't want to overbook. If you have a limited seats, then so you see here you have this, and this. So you do something called counting. You know how to do counting in so count. I think this is also, you tell me that you are afraid of. So this is accounting, okay? And if we say, so again, I'm just telling you just like overview of what we need to study. So this is equivalent to this portion. But again, again, if you are afraid to see that, or that confuse you, don't do it, man. You do that. Stick to that. It is the same effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you know, if I put asterisk like that and equal, and if I put, so this is the division and equal. So do you know, I think this, I already shared it with you here. Am I right? Okay. So and this exactly the same concept, except that you remove the plus here, and then you put multiplication. But of course, you are not multiplying by one lah. Okay, it depends on what you put here. So maybe you're multiplying by 2 or something else. Typically you don't multiply by 1. There's no point to do that. And also the division the same. But again, if you confused, go to the typical way. The typical way is to do it like this. So this count equal count multiplied by 2. Stick to this if this is not confusing to you. But I'm telling you, if you practice a lot, like what we always do, I believe that will be clear to you. The point here is, let me just try to share with you something, if you don't mind. This is typically, I would not waste time in the normal sessions for that. That's why I stick to saying that in the typical demo session. I mean, I will go step by step and watch you write code and correct you from there. Let me share with you something very fast, and then I will have to teach you a few things that I always share with my students about actually how to study, how your brain works when you are studying. That will not only benefit you here, that will benefit you everywhere. So please stop sharing and let me try to share. Hopefully we still have some good amount of time to do that. Let me see here. Pit pepper. Pit pepper. Okay, yeah, I got it here. Okay, so I take you fast to this. So I will try to erase as much as I can so that we talk about it. Did anybody ever teach you how to count from 1 to 200 in less than 30 seconds?
No.
Okay. So the trick is, I mean, this is in my students that study in Europe and US, they teach them when they are 7 years old. But okay, I understand we have a difference of levels here, so don't worry about that. But the trick here is that in programming, we use that in programming. The thing is, I mean, I'm not interested in just sharing with you how to, the trick or how to actually do this calculation. The trick is to find patterns, to learn to find patterns. If you start to find patterns, especially if you want to specialize in computer science later, finding patterns in the code is very, very important. So look with me here, please. If we want to count from 1 until 200, what are we going to do? I will teach you the trick here. So because that is not the point from teaching your level to do that, but let me share. So I say I will divide this number into two tables, table 1 and table 2. Each table have 100 elements. So I will see that I have 1 from 1 until 100 here. And then I have from 101 until 200 in the second table. And then I will try to find a pattern and something that is keep repeating. If I add the first element from the first table with the first element in the second table, I will have 201. And what about if you do that here?
201 again.
And here?
Again, 201.
And what about here?
Again, 201.
So this is a pattern. This is something that keeps repeating. So, okay, we know that we are able to do these additions from table 1 and table 2 100 times because we know that we have 100 elements here. So are we able to convert the summing from 1 to 200 into a multiplication operation? Can you guess what we need to multiply? What by what?
1 to 200.
So 200 here, 201 here. I mean, so this is 100 elements, and each one of them, when it is added, it results in 201. Okay, so it means that we have 201 elements because the number of elements here is 100. So it means that we multiply 100 by 201. The result is actually the result of summing from 1 until 200. Is that clear? Did you understand anything from me? Sorry, sorry. Typically, I don't rush too much. I totally apologize. Typically, we go slow motion, and then every step I do, I ask. But since we jumped out of my my plans or my slides, but okay, I will try to slow down. Sorry, this is not the typical way. So okay, now I shared with you that we multiply 100 by 201. But what if I tell you I want to see how I sum the numbers from 1 until 200? Are you able to tell me how can we do that similar to what we have done it here from 1 until 200?
401 times 200.
That's excellent. Okay, that is excellent. Okay, so whatever number here, I don't care about it. You can just get it by calculator. But now, if I would like, so since you are smart enough to start to detect that, I would say if my result is y, so if I want to represent that by a formula, okay, that I even can use it in programming. how can I present that? So if I tell you I want to count from 1 until 400, are you able to tell me? So assume that the x equal 400. This is the number that you want to reach at the end. So you want to count from 1 until 400, and your x here is 200. So are you able to tell me what is the relation between this 401 and this 400? And
X
also
plus 1.
Excellent, x plus 1. That's excellent. Okay, and what about 200 and 400?
X over 2.
X divided by 2. So we need to add that or multiply?
Multiply.
Multiply. Excellent. So now you got the formula that allow you, if I tell you now, I want to count from 1 until 1000, I no need to make the two tables anymore. I can just use this formula because you already understand it. And then you can actually even program it in Python. You can write it in Python. Did you take before how to write methods and functions?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference between a procedure and a function?
A function will always return a value for every input.
Excellent.
A procedure, I don't know.
A procedure will not return anything. It will not use, in short, it will not use the return statement. Okay, so it can it can do some calculation and print it out, for example, but it will not return anything. Is that clear?
Clear.
Okay. So I can see so far, but this is a fast judgment, that your basics is clear and is okay. So maybe I think I have to watch out in your practice. But let me please try to cover the slides that I typically teach my students, so that we don't have to talk about that later. It's important start. Right. So, okay, this will apply to everything, not only computer science, but it will somehow, some part of it will touch computer science more. So I will teach you how to actually, what is brain chunks and how you actually can build them. Creativity and emotional stability is actually, they are somehow related to each other, strongly related to each other. I will teach you how, or the modes that your brain operates in, which is the focus mode and diffuse mode, and how you can actually trigger this diffuse mode. Okay. And I will also teach you the difference between a working memory and a permanent memory. So did you hear before any time about memory chunking?
No.
So, okay, we start to run out of time. So chunking is passing information to your brain in a small amount. So imagine that you have this phone number and you want to start to memorize that phone number. Start to memorize the whole number one shot is not a good practice, and this is not how your brain works. You need to divide the information that you want to save to your brain in a small chunks. And then you want to start to relate the different chunks together. So I would say this is 954. So I would say September, May, and April. Or you can start to find a relation between this 954 and something that you already have in your brain, that you already have stored in your brain. Does this 9 refer to something that is clear and you always remember? Is it a birthday of somebody you love? And so on. Okay. So finding a relation between different information help it stick in your brain. Okay. So let me so as I said, in short, because we are starting to run out of time, I would like to cover that as much as I can. So I would say memory chunking is engaging with the information, trying to analyze the information, If you want to study something, don't listen passively to it. Take notes, summarize, and try to discuss the information that you learned with others. That helps you a lot. Okay. Focus on building relation between information, like what we learned just now. We created a formula just for summing these numbers. So this is when you do that with what you're learning, whatever it is, it actually helps your brain a lot to remember that and to store that information strongly in your brain when you want to recall it in the exam. That will help you a lot. Okay. So for exam preparation, two things help you a lot. Practice retrieval. Reading information does not really help you. It means that you study something and then you want to revise it. Don't just reread it again. This does not help you. This gives you a false feeling that you actually memorizing and you understand the information, but this is not true. I want you to close the book and try to write out whatever you studied. By doing so, you actually are stressing the how to say, the links between different information inside your brain. So the brain will start to mark that this information is important to you because you always try to recall it. Don't start recalling only in the exam. Okay. And one thing, do a spaced repetition. A spaced repetition means that you do not study computer science for 4 or 5 hours once a week. Space that. So instead of allocating 5 hours a day just in 1 week, allocate these 5 hours all over the week. That help a lot. And not only in computer science, do it with other subjects. That also help you not to lose track of what you learned. Okay. So did you understand me?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see here in front of your eyes?
The book index.
Okay. What do you use it for?
To find information relating to key terms in the book.
Fast enough. Am I right?
Yeah.
Did you know that your brain have an index?
No.
So your brain have two areas here that is called the hippocampus. And the time remaining for me is not a lot, so I'm not able to do that as I do it in the demo sessions, but I will give you why I need to teach you about the hippocampus. So first of all, this is two information. Your working memory is here, and the permanent memory is here. Is spread in a thin layer all over the brain here. The one who orchestrates saving the information from your working memory, the one that you are using at the moment when you are listening to me, to be stored and organized in your permanent memory is the hippocampus. And the problem with the hippocampus, it actually gets saturated with information very fast. Every 15 minutes, there is a formula, but I don't think the time allow me to explain that to you. But anyhow, in 15 minutes, you need to rest 1 or 2 minutes. Sometimes teachers who know that every 10 to 15 minutes, they will clean the board, try to check the syllabus, just give a 1 or 2 minutes of silence to help this hippocampus empty the information or pass the information successfully to the permanent memory. If you didn't do that, you will start losing information. You get saturated, and then you are not able to accept information even more. So even if you are studying alone, if you are listening to a video, you also need to do that. This is the advice. This is how the science say about our brain. Okay?
Got it.
Okay. Did you understand me?
Yes, I understand.
Typically, I would like to ask you always about what do you understand, but again, I'm so sorry we took long time in our first discussion, so I truly apologize.
That's fine.
Okay, look at the brain here and your brain here.
Yeah.
You see here more links, right?
Yes.
So in short, typically this kind of links occur when you are sleeping. Getting enough sleep every day is important, not only the night of the exam, because this consolidation and linking information inside your brain actually occurs sometimes in weeks, sometimes extend to months. So a good sleep every night help your brain to consolidate the information inside. Also, I would like to tell you something. It was discovered by research that if you study something in geography or math, it have indirect effects on your computer science. Even though you like computer science, or even though you like only math, you don't like geography or history or this kind of subjects, but studying in general improve your creativity. So the ability to brainstorm ideas and solve problems improve, even though you see no direct information, but the research have discovered otherwise. Okay, so the most important thing is that you don't put rubbish in your brain. So if you're watching TikTok, so that is, I would say that if you're watching something that is not useful, so you are occupying your brain with something that is not good. So I would say every information that you take that is useful, it helps all the other subjects. As long as you are reading or studying useful information, you see that there is no relation, but the brain have another talk about that. Okay, did I make it clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So again, and that is the most important thing. I will try as much as I can to say it. So at the moment, you are now in the focus mode. When you are listening to me, when you are listening to a class, when you are solving exam questions, when you are solving any math problem, when you are studying in general, you are in the focus mode. Okay. So the focus mode only employs certain parts of your brain, but there is a strong part of your brain that is related to problem solving, which is the diffuse thinking mode. So sometimes when you are relaxed, when you are taking shower, when you are just thinking about nothing, just relaxing, open your arms and sitting on a chair and doing nothing, thinking about nothing, you are now triggering your diffuse mode. If you are taking shower, if you are sitting beside the sea and you're thinking about nothing, you are triggering your diffuse thinking mode. This is the mode where you can find solution for your problems. If you are stuck in a problem, math problem, any difficult programming exercise, I would recommend you to leave what you are doing. Don't be like me when I didn't know this information before. I take my ego force me as a programmer that I need to find a solution before I go out or go back. But the reality say that when you leave what you are stuck with for 1 hour or even for 1 day, when you come back, you actually find a good solution, and very fast and without exhausting your brain and efforts. Okay, so I want you to practice that with everything. And I'm not sure if I have time, but I would like also to tell you a trick that people use when you are in your exam. Try to read all the exam questions before you start to